Sri Mahaganapatai Namah Saraswatyai Namah Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Paradevataye Namah Om Sri Ramachandraya Namah Sadguru Saishwaraye Namah Om Sai Ram Om Asahaya Sahayaya Namah. Now let us hear the chapters of Sri Sai Satcharita written by Hemant Pant based on Sri Sai Satcharitam written in Malayalam by N. Somashekaran, translated by Sulini V. Nair. Chapter 2. This is about the book Sai Satcharita and its author Hemant Pant. My heart was filled with love seeing and hearing about Bhagavan Sai's wondrous Leelas. This book is the manifestation of the joy that welled up within my heart. The only medicine for the miseries of this world is listening to Bhagavan's stories. It will be joyous and wondrous to listen to Sai's amazing Leelas. Listeners' sins will be burned to ashes. Yet, it is almost audacious to attempt to write the life of a Rishi. Only one Rishi can truly understand another, and I am but an ordinary person, unable to understand even my close friends well enough. That being the case, how will I capture the greatness of an avatar? Even the Vedas hesitate to attempt such a feat. Then what to speak of me? It is impossible. One may be able to measure the quantity of water in all the 7 seas. One may be able to cover the entire sky with a cloth. But to understand a Rishi, that is impossible. Lord of Lords, O Bhagavan Sai, please shower your grace. Only through your grace will I be able to complete this task. I am deeply desirous of singing the glory of your avatar. The world may ridicule me for trying to accomplish such a daunting task. Be pleased to protect me from such. No, I have no fear. I recall Jnaneshwar's words that God loves those who write the lives of saints. Have you not inspired me to write? I may be of a lesser intellect, but you know very well how to make me do your work beautifully. You know how to make your devotees serve you in the way they desire. So why should I fear? I am safe indeed. When the saint inspires the work, the devotee becomes a fitting instrument and his actions become successful. There are countless examples of this. In the Shaka year 1700, Mahipati, inspired by saints, wrote their story. His work was accepted wholeheartedly by the virtuous. In the 18th century, Das Ganu was inspired to write. His offering too was accepted by the saints. He wrote 4 books, Bhakta Vijaya, Santa Vijaya, Bhakta Leela Amrita and Santa Katha Amrita, in which he describes the lives of modern saints. In the Bhakta Leela Amrita and Santa Katha Amrita, Sai Baba's wondrous story and messages are well depicted. Blessed ones, do read all of these. Srimati Savitribai Raghunath Tendulkar has written a small book called the Sri Sainath Bhajanamala, in which Baba's wonderful Leelas are depicted. Amidas Bhavai Mehta, a devotee, has published some stories of Baba in Gujarati. Devotees have also brought out some issues of Sainath Prabha, a magazine on Baba's Leela and life. Thus, there are already many books on Sai. You may wonder why then another Sai Satcharita. It was but natural to feel so. The answer is very simple. Sai's life is vast like the infinite ocean. It is endless. Anyone who dives deep into this ocean will find the priceless gems of Jnana and Bhakti. Anyone can gather those and distribute them among aspiring people. Baba's parables and teachings are very wonderful. They remove all miseries of worldly life and fill the mind with peace and more peace. The mind turns away from worldly difficulties and towards meditation on Bhagavan. Baba's nectarine words are akin to Vedas. To those who listen to them and contemplate them, nothing remains impossible. Even God realization can be thus achieved. Therefore, I decided to compile these stories and write them. I have decided to dedicate my life to this holy cause. This book will give delight to those who could not have Baba's darshan or hear his words. With such thoughts, I started to collect information. Baba blessed me with the intellectual capability to undertake this task. Baba's permission and blessings were most crucial in this matter. I was afraid to ask him directly, so I told Sri Madhavrao Deshpande, Alaya Shama, Baba's most intimate devotee, about my desire. And during a quiet moment with Baba, he spoke to Baba about this. Baba, this Anna Sahib wishes to write your biography. Please do not object by saying you're a fakir and that people will laugh if he writes a mendicant story. You know that you are a rare gem that must be treasured in an exquisite casket. Oh Deva, if you permit, if you bless, he will write your story beautifully. Sai, who dwells in our hearts, heard my wish, heard my prayer. He replied most compassionately, may his wish come true. Immediately, I prostrated at those holy feet. The merciful one laid his hand on my head. Then he gave me Udhi. Afterwards, calming my troubled mind, Baba said, collect experiences and collect the stories and prepare notes. I will help you. The devotee is but an outward instrument. I will write my story through my devotee and thus fulfill his wish. For this, he must surrender his ego at my feet. Whoever can do this, I will help him the most. I will make all efforts for such a devotee. When he is completely emptied of the ego, I will dwell in his heart and with my own hands write my story. Wherever you are, remember me. Remember me again and again. Your heart will overflow with perfect peace. Reading, hearing, contemplating my stories and teachings will fill devotees' heart with pure love. All ignorance will be removed and they will attain self-realization. What more do you need? One must never force one's beliefs on another, nor refute another's opinion. One must never be insistent about one's views. Therefore, let there be no argument over this matter. There is a reason behind Baba saying, let there be no argument. An incident happened, through which I got the name Hemat Pant. Here is what happened. Kaka Sahib Dikshit and Nana Sahib Chandorkar were my close friends. Kaka Sahib often pressed me to go to Shirdi, but I was then unable to go. It was then that my close friend's son at Lonavala fell seriously ill with a fever. They tried all possible treatments and various pujas, but the fever did not subside. Finally, he got his guru to sit at his son's bedside and pray for him. That too did not help. I was deeply shaken by this news. My friend had only this one son. What was the use of a guru who was unable to save him? This discouraged me from going to Shirdi or seeking a guru for myself. I felt no matter how great one's guru may be, it was not possible to avoid what was destined. Thus my journey to Shirdi kept getting deferred. But divine will works in mysterious ways. One's destiny is determined by one's action, both dharmic and adharmic. I was led to Shirdi by the effect of some meritorious action in a past life. Nana Sahib Chandorkar, who was a divisional magistrate, was going to Bassein on tour. From Thane, he reached Dadar and was waiting for the next train to Bassein, which would arrive in an hour. In the meantime, a Bhandra local arrived. He got on the train, reached Bhandra and called me. When are you going to have Sai's darshan? I feel very sorry to see your tardiness in this matter. You lack firm determination. He chastised me. I felt quite embarrassed and decided that I should not delay any further. I decided to leave for Shirdi that same night. I bought a ticket with the assumption that the train would stop at Dadar. From Dadar, I planned to take a train to Manmad. Suddenly, a Muslim man rushed into the compartment. Seeing all my luggage, he inquired where I was going. When I told him I was going to Dadar en route to Manmad, he informed me that the Manmad mail did not stop at Dadar and that I should get off at Victoria Terminus. This was of great help to me. I do not know what would have happened to me had I not got this piece of information. I would not have reached Shirdi as planned, and my wavering mind would have been assailed with doubts. I would have found many reasons for the obstacles preventing me from reaching Shirdi. I would perhaps even have blamed Sai. But Bhagavan's grace was with me. Thus I was able to reach Shirdi as planned between 9 and 10 the next morning. Bau Sahib Dikshit was waiting for me there. The year was 1910 and Sate's Vada was the only facility available for devotees to stay. I was anxious to receive Baba's darshan. Just then, Tatya Sahib Nulkar, one of Baba's close devotees who had just returned from masjid, told me, Hurry, hurry, Baba is now at the corner of the Vada. Go fast and receive his darshan. Later you can go again after bath. I ran to where Baba stood as indicated by Tatya Sahib. To my great delight, I saw his divine form and I prostrated at his feet. Waves of bliss rose within my heart. I drank in his divine form with blessed eyes. Despite the long journey, I felt no hunger or thirst. It felt like I wanted nothing more. The touch of his feet transformed me completely. It was a new life for me. I am deeply obliged to every person who inspired me and hastened me to receive Baba's divine darshan. They are my true relatives. I can never repay the debt that I owe them. With palms joined in salutation, I recall each of them with gratitude and bow before each of them with reverence. Bhagavan Sai's darshan is incomparable, beyond words. All my doubts vanished at his sight. All sins from past lives were reduced to ashes. True dispassion sprouted within. It is due to merit from unknown past lives that such a great good fortune came to my lot. Beholding his form, one realizes that all of creation is dyed in his essence. Sai's divine darshan purified me a great deal. The day I reached Shirdi, an argument happened with Bala Sahib Bhate and me. It was about the necessity of a guru. Why does one need to surrender before a guru? What is the need to sacrifice one's freedom? We must put in determined efforts on our own to overcome life's difficulties. How can a guru help one who lazily wastes time? These were my arguments. No matter how hard one tries, no matter how much effort one puts in, no matter how great a scholar one may be, nothing will come to fruition without the grace of the Guru, argued Bala Sahib Bhate. A heated argument followed for more than an hour and it reached nowhere. And as is the case with arguments, I lost all peace of mind. I realized that one engages in these kind of arguments because of one's egoistic nature. Later, we went to the masjid. Baba asked Kaka Sahib what was the discussion in Sate Vada about. Then staring at me, he asked, "What did this Himmat Pant say?" I went numb, listening to those words. How had Baba known of the argument that had happened between us? The Vada and Masjid were quite far apart. How could he have known about an event that had happened so far away, unless he were the indweller of our hearts? His sharp words pierced my heart and I felt very uneasy. Why had Baba referred to me as Hemat Pant? The kings Mahadev and Ramdev of Devagiri belonged to the Yadava dynasty. Their minister was Hemadri Pant, a very learned scholar and author of works like Chaturvarga, Chintamani and Raja Prashati. The names Hemadri Pant had been distorted over time to Hemat Pant. I was merely an ignoramus of mediocre intellect. Why had Baba called me by this name, of which I certainly was not deserving? Hemat Pant had been an astute politician and Sanskrit poet. I could not manage to write a single line of poetry. Finally, it dawned on me that Baba had given me this name to crush my ego. I understood that I should always remain humble and modest. It was not good to be argumentative. Spiritual growth would be impossible without perfect faith, patience, and courage. In any case, I humbly accept this name that Baba bestowed upon me as an honor and decoration. Our Sai is our all. He alone is our joy, the cause for our joy, the answer to all our sorrows, and the source of all our prosperity. His feet are our only refuge. May our ears be blessed to listen to His glories alone. Through listening to Sai's stories, may all our fears from the experience of samsara cease forever. May our minds, soiled by Kali Yuga, be rendered perfectly pure. May all worlds be blessed with auspiciousness. End of chapter 2. Asahaya Sahayaya Namah.